No, we don't have an STI, but I'll take the closest thing we can get. This is the 2025 Subaru WRX TS. We're doing a Need for Speed Underground sort of review. We're not going to be racing, but I like doing these reviews at night to give you guys a different perspective of these cars. Also, at night, the streets are empty. It's about 4 a.m. right now, and we're going to take the Subaru WRX TS out for a spin on the empty streets and ring this thing out a bit. So even though it is getting quite a few upgrades over the normal WRX, it still has the same 2.4 turbo with 271 horsepower and 258 or so pound-feet of torque. Now the TS is exclusively mated to a 6-speed manual. Can I get an amen for that? We also have upgraded wheels here. These are exclusive to the TS, these 19-inch wheels. Also, we have the upgraded brakes here. These Brembos are, man, not only are they looking hot, we have over 13-inch platters up front and over 12-inch platters in the rear. I want to say these are 6 piston up front and then a single piston in the rear. I'll fact check myself. Again, it's 4 a.m. I'm half awake. We got the drilled rotors here. They look incredible. All right, so that's one way you can tell that this is packing some extra performance, at least in terms of braking from the side, or these awesome wheels and brake package. Also, well, you're not going to be able to see from the outside, but we have adaptive dampers in here that are exclusively tuned for this the TS. I want to say STI all the time, but TS supposedly means tuned by STI. So the adaptive dampers are tuned to be a little bit stiffer, a little bit more sporty compared to the GT model, which has or had those electronic dampers as well. So as we come to the back, you can see that this is the purple color. The camera's doing a good job showing that it's purple, because to my naked eye, it just looks like a dusty black. My girl's been riding in it to school a lot this week. They didn't know it was purple until I told them. So I personally would be passing on the purple. I tried to get this in that really bright orange or red, for example, or blue. Blue would be excellent too. Just this purple, while some people might like it, it hardly ever looks purple. So we come to the back, quad tip exhaust looks absolutely beautiful. The Subaru all-wheel drive, symmetrical all-wheel drive. That is blacked out. So, I mean, obviously you know it's a Subaru unless you've been living under a rock. Now, unfortunately for this TS model, they didn't paint the rear bumper. It's still that unique golf ball-like design here on the back. Hopefully the camera will pick it up. Yeah, you can see that golf ball pattern there. That's a continuous theme on the WRX. You have it around the wheel arches. You have it on the little side skirt thing down there. I think it's cool, but to have the whole bumper painted, or should I say unpainted, and just to be a specific pattern that helps reduce wind resistance, I don't know. I'll see you guys in the comments. Oh, also, and this is something that I couldn't tell, and the camera probably can't tell very well, is that this spoiler is a TS gloss black exclusive. But again, this purple looks black a lot of the time. All right, so let's go ahead and get in the back seat. This is something that you're gonna see in the TS today. You're gonna see a lot of blue accents, or at least when before we start driving, then you won't see it when we start driving. But the kids haven't had really any issues in the back seat this week. Kind of this suede insert here on the seat. Let's go ahead and get on the inside. And for a compact car, lots of leg room. All right, 6'1", seat set up for me at 6'1", lots of leg room. Got these rubber mats down here, kind of like that Subaru design, kind of like the stars of the Subaru logo is kind of what it looks like to me. We come over here, we got no vents back here, but we do have a couple illuminated USBs, one USB-C, one USB-A. I do appreciate that. Headroom back here is actually quite good. So yeah, I'm actually really comfortable back here. So let's go ahead and get out of the back seat. Much more comfortable than like a Corolla back there. All right, so getting in the front seat, We have very aggressively bolstered Recaro seats, another upgrade here to this TS. You see the WRX TS logo there on the headrest, but excellent seats. They'll feel stiff for most people at first, but then you get used to them and they hold you in very well. All right, so we come to the side here. Haven't really been pushing this Harman Kardon sound system at all this week. Again, driving kids to school and listening to Christmas music this time of year. It's about all it's had exposed to it. All right, so let's get on the inside. All right, the first thing that popped out to me that I don't believe I've seen on a Subaru before is this digital screen. This, I believe it's 12 inches. I like it. I like analog tacks, even though this is digital. I like it though. Now you can switch it around. We have these buttons down here on the steering wheel. You can switch around the display by holding that button down in the middle. And so there we have some maps, which I believe Apple Maps can pop up here, but I don't have an Apple Map thing. I'm an Android Auto guy. All right, and we're back to the tacks. Now you can also switch around your information. You got the PSI for the turbo boost, Sirius XM, unnamed roads, that's more of your nav. You see tire pressure, some cool metrics there. I just keep it on MPGs. I've been idling here, but I've been getting over 22 to 23 miles per gallon in town, guys. And there's some car line stuff in there, picking my kids up idling, and just, oh my gosh, car line in a manual is torture, but it's only rated at like 19. I'm getting like 23 miles per gallon. All right, many of us are familiar with this huge screen here. I forget, what is it, 11-inch screen? It's a bit laggy. I haven't been interacting with it much other than climate control. I wish there was an automatic climate control button that was easily accessible, but instead you have to go through here, fiddle around with the climate control on this end. Whoops, I didn't mean to press auto. So I have nothing to talk about the screen other than that, because that's all I've been using it for. Just to show you guys, this is the first time I put on Android Auto. It's very vertical, of course, with a vertical screen, but you can't get rid of this screen. It's always up. This additional information screen, you know, the weather. I just kind of like having the radio up there. That's just personal preference. And then climate control is always down there. You can't get rid of it, which is fine because there's no physical climate control other than these buttons, the temperature buttons, and then also the defrost. Volume knob right off the steering wheel, so that's convenient. We got some suede here on the dash. Focus, there we go, with some nice blue stitching. Not an iota of ambient lighting in the footwells that I can tell. But as we come to the center area, no wireless charger, but we have some nice illuminated USB-A, USB-C. We even have an aux jack. I think Subaru is one of the last remaining. Oh man, we just auto-focused on the shifter. But yeah, aux jack is in here. Yeah, the 6-speed manual feels pretty good. We'll talk about it here in a second. And a couple cup holders, which they're in the dark, as well as the manual emergency brake, e-brake here. I freaking adore it. All right, back to the steering wheel. Some blue stitching, as you guys can see, and then red lettering, red ambient lighting, I guess, for the steering wheel buttons. All right, whenever you start the car, it's always in sport mode, and we have 5 different modes here, if I remember right, which they come up here, and you can see how each of them is tuned. So sport is default. I put it in individual. I like the more aggressive throttle response. I like the sportiest steering. I like the comfort suspension. Let's get back to it. And I like the most relaxed eyesight. The eyesight cut in once when it didn't need to cut in. I was in full control. I thought I was going to run into the back of someone, but it cut in. It activated ABS. It was a bit like unnecessary interference, I would say. So that's why I like having it on relax. Now, right here is the start button. That's your individual mode. So that's your shortcut when you get into the car. is to go ahead and go and press the start button for your individual mode because it defaults to sport. All right, so there's your digital speedometer as well as your everything digital with analog representation, I guess. So let's go ahead and start driving the incredible Subaru WRX TS. And you see, okay, real quick, you see an STI logo there to let you know that it's tuned by STI. And then you have the start button, which has STI logo on it as well. So it's just kind of teasing us that we don't have an STI anymore, even though this is tuned by STI. Is it an STI? No, we'll start driving it, so let's go. All right, buckling up, because if you don't, you'll be reminded real shortly that you're not being safe. Oh, I guess e-brake. There's no sunroof in this car, which is fine with me. Over the years, I've grown to not really care whether I have a sunroof or not. But as a result, the drive cam that you see right here is just kind of wedged in between the seats. So we might lose it since we can't suction it to the sunroof. So wish us luck with the drive camera. But at least you have the tachometer and the speedometer available to you guys. And let's just give her hell here. All right, so I like driving this car. You know, some people says it can use a little bit more power. Honestly, for daily driving, I have hardly ever floored it. That was my first time going full tilt in it. So it's got plenty of power for daily drive. I would say almost the perfect amount of power. The problem is that this costs 45, 46K, and then you get the same amount of power on a base WRX, which is 10 grand less with deals that can be had under MSRP. All right. Oh, I guess I did mention, of course, this is all-wheel drive. It's a WRX. Some of you guys might not know that, but goodness gracious. Well, so here's the thing. It's not the smoothest car. Okay, here's the thing. The engine's super smooth. Very, very smooth. Likes to build power. It doesn't have the highest red line, but it rewards you for revving it out. But when you shift gears, if you don't do it how the car likes you to shift gears, you get a lot of like it kind of bounces you back and forth. There's kind of a, I don't know if the right word it would be for it, kind of like a shuddering. Also, there's no auto rev matching on the downshifts, so it's not like there's a lot of, sorry, I've just got to rev it out. So shifting fast in here, I found like it doesn't really enjoy it. And it's not because this has rev hang or anything, or at least noticeable rev hang that I've been able to tell. It's just that if the engine speed and the transmission speed aren't absolutely perfect, you're going to feel it. And that's true for the downshifts. The downshifts here, it's been all week and I still am getting used to them. It's just the smallest blip of the throttle for the downshifts. If you give it like a lot of throttle, like a Miata, it is way too much, and the car does not like that at all. So I'm doing obviously manual shifts because there's no option for rev matching. And that's something I thought that would be included on the WRX by now. And I've noticed when you get to second, it's like this for most vehicles, when you do manual downshifts to second, you got to give it a little bit more throttle compared to the other gears on the way down. All right. So let's talk about the lights. So these do have steering assist lights, as far as I'm aware. What does that mean? Well, adaptive lights. Oh yeah. I love the lights here. These lights are incredible. Holy smokes. Such a an even spread of light. It's super bright in the near. Now, I have fog lights that helps for it to be super bright, but the fog lights really only help in the first like 10 feet, maybe, something like that. It's not very far. The brights, let's see here. There's the brights. Yeah, the brights have a super long projection to them. Yeah, I think these are some of the best lights I've tested in a while. I'll give them a solid A here. Well done, Subaru, with your lights. I haven't played with the radar cruise control, the eyesight. In a car like this, I like to be in control most of the time, if not all the time. So I have not been playing with the steering assist. So I guess that's something that is fairly new on a WRX manual, is having the eyesight technology. So yeah, I guess that's a nice benefit from buying a new WRX. But I believe eyesight might be standard throughout the WRX lineup now. All right. I haven't talked about the brakes, so let's go ahead and get on these brakes hard. Okay, the brakes are really strong in here. It just feels like you hit a wall with them. There's not a lot of movement in the pedal. And some people might like that, but there's just like no progression. And I guess we can launch this thing, and that's something I've realized, is that Subarus, they don't, at least the last time I did WRX, dropping the clutch is not something they like. Slowly coming off the clutch is the way they like to be launched. So let's rev it to about 3,000. Yeah, that was pretty good. So you guys can probably hear or feel, you can't feel it, but you can probably notice that shuddering if you try to just bang through the gears. It is a bit lurchy, but that launch was actually way better than I was expecting the first time I tried to launch this vehicle this week. Honestly, I've not been driving it that hard. I've like I said, been taking the kids to school and picking them up in this. There's been times I've been driving it sporty through traffic and stuff, but most of the time I've just been getting to know this vehicle, getting to know where it likes to be driven with the smoothness, getting more familiar with the downshifts, even though, like I said, there's not a lot of engine braking, getting familiar with the downshifts. So like this car, it's not the easiest manual to drive. So just dropped the kids off of school. I wanted to revisit a little bit the manual. Now, there might be a hair of rev hang. I want to revisit that, because like if you hustle it too much, then the transmission hates it. But if you shift it like leisurely, it doesn't like that either. So it really is going to like have a long learning curve, and like I still feel like I'm mastering this. I'm not even close to being able to get the shift smooth every single time, but there's a very specific cadence this transmission likes to be shifted. I would say like if you had 5 different speeds of shifting a manual, it likes to be in the medium or the slightly fast speed. But you get punished for sure if you shift too fast, and you get punished for sure if you shift just a hair too slow. The revs will drop really, really quick. But it's a very, you got to massage it. I'll just say that. It takes some time. There's a learning curve here. And it makes for driving this car very engaging. It's not the easiest manual to drive by any means. Now, it's not like I haven't stalled it once this week, not even close. So it's just, like I mentioned in the video, it's really, really a long learning curve to master in terms of even the upshifts and the manual rev matching downshifts. And some people might really like that. It's not nearly as like plug and play like a Honda Civic Si or a Type R. Like, I know those are kind of like the gold standard, I guess you could say, for manual transmissions. This is going to require some babying, and some people might really enjoy it because there's a lot of interaction here. Now, why am I just now like getting better at driving this manual? Well, I've been really focusing on the shift points and the speed of the shifts since reviewing it this morning. I have kids in the car, they're talking to me, so I'm not really focusing on mastering the manual, all right, and like listening to what the car is having to say with how fast or how slow I'm shifting. I'm just trying to get through traffic and get my kids to school without blowing a gasket. Well, not, maybe that's a bad pun there, but without psychologically getting frustrated in traffic in a manual. Like, it happens. But I'm going to shut it down and let's get back to the main video. I wouldn't say it's difficult to learn, but it's difficult to master, and some people might really enjoy that character, kind of like this high, like, I guess you could say kind of like this end game. It's easy to get in and start driving if you know how to drive a manual, but matching the revs is not an easy thing to do, I would say, for an average manual transmission driver. And shifting smoothly in general, that lowered Ram had underglow on it. But shifting smoothly, even on the upshifts, takes some massaging and practice. And I like that about this car. It feels like it has its own character. It feels like you're trying to tame a horse, man. You're trying to tame a bucking bronco here. And so if you're not banging through the gears, holy hell. It feels so good when you get those shifts just absolutely smooth, which that's probably the first time you guys have seen it in this video. And so maybe I'll finish out this video driving really smoothly. And so you can go 100% throttle in this vehicle and still shift smoothly, in my experience, but you're going to have to take your time on the shifts and really focus on perfecting those shifts. If you just bang through them, car does not like that, like I mentioned throughout this video. Oh man, this engine is such a peach though. Oh my goodness, the engine, how it builds revs is so incredibly smooth. It's hard to believe that it's a 4-cylinder, but it's a horizontally opposed 4-cylinder, so its characteristics are just so much different than a typical inline 4. The engine just is butter. And some people might want a little bit more character, but in terms of weight distribution and smoothness, it's hard to beat a flat 4 here, or I guess you could say a horizontal boxer 4. It's maybe one last acceleration, and I haven't been driving it in anything other than my custom mode. Maybe we do Sport Plus. The suspension gets really stiff in Sport Plus, so for street driving hasn't been my thing here. Every once in a while you get some claps from the exhaust, but it's rare, man. Oh man, when you get the shifts just perfect, it is very satisfying. And I definitely can tell as I'm turning here that the car has stiffened up immensely. Maybe a little bit too much for me on a daily driving. But I'll see you guys in the comments. Here's the thing. If you can get this car on discount, it's probably worth it. But at $46K, guys, that's Type R money. And I know this is all-wheel drive, but when you're talking mid to upper 40s, I would like a little bit more engine performance and auto rev matching downshifts. I don't think that's asking too much. Electronically controlled suspension, great. It's nice. I've been enjoying it. These super strong brakes, great. Fantastic. This cool blue interior, great. But for $46K, my money's going elsewhere. Now, like I started this video, the base WRX is the way to go. In my opinion, you can upgrade the brakes yourself. You can upgrade the suspension yourself. You can upgrade the engine if you want. I don't know how tunable these are compared to the old EJ engines, but yeah, I would just be getting a base WRX. I've seen them in my area for the low 30s, and it's going to drive very, very, very similar to this and have the exact same horsepower this car has. So, yep, I'm going to end it there. If you're spending this money, get a Type R, or try to get this on discount. I really like this car. High degree of difficulty to master it. Has a lot of character. All-wheel drive system here is great. Suspension here is great. I'm going to get out of the Sport Plus mode, get back into my individual mode. It really softens things out and makes it a really nice daily driver. But I'll end it there. Thank you guys for coming along on this drive today with the WRX TS. Rest in peace TR. Rest in peace STI. And let's hope Subaru revives the STI one day, but I mean, it's hard to say with the political landscape, where things are going with electrification. I'll cut it off there. That's kind of a sad way to end this video, but I'm glad that WRX still exists. I'm glad the manual still exists here. It's a really, really good car. Just get the base, or maybe with the limited model, the next grade up above the base WRX. Those are going to be your best buys. I'll catch you in the next one. Be safe out there. Happy holidays if you're watching this during holiday season. Peace out.